Okay, it's like this. Then A level, A level, advanced level is a two-year journey, minimum 2-year journey. Today we are starting the class on March 2nd. You have to face the exam in 2028 August. That means we have around 2.5-year period to cover the entire content. During this period, we will do several things. First, I will explain those contents or components of the course or components of the class. First, we have to identify that to get a good result, 3 parties should involve in this process. 3 main parties involved in the process of getting a good result. That means to have a good result, 3 parties should involve. What are these 3 parties? Normally, a good result means you are I think most of you are expecting for A. That's my target as well. Pushing you for a A. Then or some may expect for B. I think most of you are in this category. All of you will try to get a good A and to get good rank in your district. Therefore, to get such a rank, to get a good result, 3 parties should involve. So what are these 3 parties? 2 main parties are, first party is a teacher. A good teacher should put his or her effort in this process. You should need a good teacher. I will explain the role of the teacher. Meanwhile, I'm explaining the role of teacher, you can understand what we are doing in the class. Then the next part is a student. That means you. You are the most important person or most important stakeholder in this process, student. We too have to manage these things to get a good result, to get a good rank in your district. The other party is actually a facilitator. They do a monitoring process as well. Those are parents. Not like your O-levels or grade 5 scholarships. Parents in A-levels, parents do a facilitating role. Sometimes your parent may be a doctor or a teacher, then such parents can involve in this process as well to teach you something, but mostly parents are the facilitators in this process. But their help is very needed, very important. Okay, so since parents are not found physically here, we will understand the roles of the teacher and the student. I will explain my role while I'm explaining what we do in the class. Then you have to understand the role of yourselves in this process. Okay, it's like this. What is the teacher's role? First role of the teacher is, teacher should be able to convey the contents simply, in a simplest way or in an understandable way. So that means simple explanations are needed. Teacher should be able to provide 2 simplest explanations. Simplest means not half of the explanation, full theory with exact theoretical content, or exact content should be conveyed to you through simple explanation. Then A-level subjects are not very simple actually. Compared to O-levels, you have to understand the reality at the beginning. Compared to O-levels, these are challenging. Compared to O-levels, it is very challenging. There are huge syllabi. Good concepts are there. A good teacher should be able to convey all these concepts as they are in a simplest way. There are different ways of teaching. One can teach biology or chemistry or physics without going to the depth or to the real depth. But it's not the way to get a good result A and B. We can simply brush through the syllabus. We can simply go through the contents without mentioning its depth. But that's not the way, remember. That's not the way. Teacher should provide good understanding on every theoretical concept as they are. Got that? Therefore, simple explanations are needed to get the good idea about the concept. Remember, success of A levels is behind 100% understanding. You should understand each and every concept perfectly. Then I will explain thoroughly to understand every concept. We will go to the depth of the subject. We can see the depth of the subject, then you can easily go for an A. There's a organized planning process, there's an organized process to have an A. I will explain when then you can understand. Okay, first role of the teacher is conveying the exact concept in simplest way or simple explanation. Then to cover this content, we use several materials. To cover the syllabus, we use several materials. So this is how we do simple explanations, or we convey theoretical concepts to you. Here I'm sharing a presentation here. Wait for a moment. Okay, again, I have to tell you, welcome to the study of life. You will understand why, without saying biology, I have mentioned it as study of life while we are discussing. Anyway, welcome to study of life. You will understand that we are going to study the nature, we are going to study living organisms, we are going to understand ourselves in this process. So we'll try to learn and realize these contents without cramming. Remember that we are realizing, we are understanding each and every concept without just cramming. This is a logical process, logical subject. Okay, it's like this. I will ask those two questions later. Here we hope that means we have a plan to cover every aspect of the syllabus 5 months before the exam. That is, this plan is specially designed for your generation. That means after your generation, this is specifically target your mindset. Therefore, we will cover the syllabus 5 months before the exam to cover the theoretical concepts. To convey theoretical concepts, there are two materials. The main material that we have to use is this resource book. So according to the resource book, we can cover every aspect of the syllabus 5 months before the exam. In simplest way, as I explained you. Here, this picture represents the front page of Grade 12 resource book. This is the material that we have to follow. Questions will be asked, or professor prepare the questions or question paper based on this studying material or resource book. Answers will be prepared according to this resource book. So this is the basic material that we have to follow. Every content, most of the contents actually are in the resource book. Because I said most, because there's a practical guide separately. I will explain that as well. There's a practical guide separately. Questions will be asked from practicals as well. We are discussing those practicals in the class. We are discussing even in online. We are discussing those. I will send you videos. I can send you relevant materials to understand the practicals. It's somewhat like you are doing the practical. You can understand every concept in practicals as well. I will explain it separately. Theories will be discussed using this material, that is resource book. But here you can buy this resource book. This is available in Maharagama National Institute of Education, NIE, or you can download a copy. If you are near Colombo, you can go to Maharagama National Institute of Education and buy there and buy the book. Or else, I think in your in near bookshops, like this is available in bookshops like Sarasavi bookshops, and also available in some bookshops. You can buy them by hard copy, or else you can download resource book using the website www.nie.lk. When you're searching for the book, remember there are several editions. That means we have to then, before 2024, few editions were used in resource book, but in 2024, resource book was revised. We have to get the new copy or the new revised edition of the resource book. It is available in website as well, or else I can send you a copy. Okay, so you can buy it, but remember, keep this as an extra material. As I did today, I will provide all the contents as tudes. That means here, what I am doing here, you can buy this and keep it with you. But to explain the theories, I use separate series of tudes. Tudes are prepared like this. The contents in the resource book will be added into the tude. All the contents in resource book will be in the tude. All the contents, everything in the resource book will be included into the tude. But I have done some modifications to the note there. What is the modification? Not the theoretical concepts. I haven't changed theoretical concepts. I have added extra diagrams, flow charts, tables, likewise. So I have inserted some extra things to understand the process, understand the theory easily. So the compared resource book, you will see notes are very easy to understand. The tude is very easy to understand. There are so many diagrams which are not in the resource book as well. So that means, in simple words, I have modified the content in an understandable way. But exactly the same content in the resource book in same words are in the note. Same concept, only I have inserted some pictures, diagrams, and some other aids to understand. Then it will be very easy. The flow is also very good in the tude. Okay, so for every section, likewise, I will send you the tude. But you can keep this with your hand, in your hand. This resource book is prepared. Remember, this resource book is prepared according to a reference book. We have a reference book for the syllabus. So here this is the resource book. Then there are several other books for the grade 13. They are also available. All these resource books are prepared based on the contents of this biology book. This is the biology by Campbell. Campbell is the author. This is so-called Campbell book. You can no need to buy this. In most of your schools, this is available. And also, I can send you a hard copy. I can send you a soft copy of Campbell. No need to buy this. Don't ask your parents to buy Campbell book because this is too expensive. Don't buy Campbell book. I am repeating that. Don't buy Campbell book because this is too expensive. I will send you a PDF. Then you can refer that for additional reading. Resource book is prepared based on this Campbell book, remember. Okay, these are the materials. In addition, there are practical guide. There is a practical guide. It includes 38 practicals. So the resource book contains all the theoretical concepts, and also separately there is a practical guide. There's a practical guide. It includes 38 practicals. We are discussing each and every practical in the class, in on-right class. And also together with these practicals, we are discussing the questions that can be asked from the practicals. Okay, so questions in the exam, questions will be asked from both resource book as well as from the practicals. You can see such questions in past papers as well. We are doing past paper questions. I will explain those. So this is how theory and the practicals will be covered. So all these things will be covered 5 months before the exam. Okay, then this is my first role. Okay, that means secondly, a teacher should cover, as I told you, teacher should cover all the contents early. That means simple explanation is needed, like that. Then early coverage of the syllabus is needed. We said that we are covering the syllabus 5 months before the exam. Okay, so in 2027 batch also we are doing this. We are on the way. We are on our target that we can cover it before 5 months. We are reaching that target. So early coverage is another role. Then, but doing only theory or discussing only practical is not helpful to get a good result. Studying only theory is not helpful to get a good result. Then what we have to do? While we are studying theory, while we are understanding and memorizing theory, you have to apply those. That means, in simplest way, continuous practice is essential. Which type of practice? Question practice. Question practice is essential. Continuously, on every week, questions should be written. You should be able to write proper answers according to the marking schemes, according to the expectations, according to the professor's marking schemes. It's another talent. Clear, there's a way to write. So there are some words to memorize when you are writing. There are patterns to write answers. So to understand those, I will convey all those things. So I can tell you while we are discussing questions. This way is wrong. Marks will be not awarded for if you write in this way. So same thing can be conveyed in a different way. It has a different meaning. So I will explain all those things while we are doing questions. Remember, continuous practice through questions is essential while doing theory. So we will cover all theories as well as the questions related to these sections before 5 months. So then you will see what will be happen after that. So I will explain at the end of this what we are doing during the last 5 months. Okay, so that means, so next role, as I explained you, next role of teacher is practicing questions. That means enough of questions should be given to you. Not easy questions actually, standard questions. Standard questions to satisfy the demands of the examination should be given. These questions should be standard. So in the class, we have an organized examination pattern. Now I am going to explain what we are doing, how do we practice these questions. There's an organized examination pattern. You can engage with that and then you can get a good idea about answering. It's like this. Again, I am sharing the screen. Okay. This is what we are doing in practicing questions. On every week, this is the first challenge. On every week, you will get a weekly test. Model questions will be asked in this weekly test based on the lessons of the previous week. So my main purpose of this is attempting to keep the students in touch in the subject. That means every week, I will further explain this. On every week, you have to write a small test, weekly test. We are starting weekly test from the 3rd week. Today is the first lesson. On the next day, we are covering the unit 1. It is a smallest unit. Then after covering the unit 1, it is a smallest unit, only few contents are there. Then from the 3rd week onwards, you can write questions until you face the exam. So weekly test will be conducted on every week or sometimes after completing a particular section until you face the exam. Clear? So in weekly test, you will get 3 types of questions. In exam, in A-level exam also, in A-level examination or exam paper also has 3 types of questions. Those are MCQs, multiple choice questions. The separate MCQ paper. And second paper or writing paper includes structured essays. Structured essay questions or essay questions and essay questions. These are the 3 types of questions that you have to face in the exam. Weekly test may include sometimes MCQs, sometimes structured essay questions and essays. I will send the paper to you, then you have to write within a particular period. Then we are discussing weekly tests on the same day. We are discussing the weekly test on the same. That means it's like this. Again, if I explain, if we do a particular lesson today, based on the today's lesson, I will ask questions or I will give a weekly test on the next day. So before starting the theory, I will send the paper. Before starting the class, I will send the paper. Then within a particular time, you have to write that and join the class. Then you can practice time management as well. For an example, normal time duration to write a full structured essay is 15 minutes. Let's say on the next week, we are writing a structured essay question as a weekly test. Then To write a full structured essay, we have to consume only 15 minutes in the exam. So we are practicing those. As an example, if we write a structured essay question as a weekly test on the next day, I will send the paper 15 minutes before the class. That means we are starting the class at 8. I will send the paper to the group at 7:45. Then you have to write those answers within that 15 minutes until 8. Then sharply at 8, you can join the class. Clear? So I will inform those properly. So, and I will inform the time of sending the paper. Then you can write and join the class. Then as a first attempt in the class, first we are discussing the weekly test. While we are discussing while I'm discussing the answers of the weekly test, I will guide you to write a proper answer. I said that there's an answering pattern in biology. For everything, marks are not given. There's a particular answering pattern. There are proper words to be used. We are discussing all those things while we are discussing weekly test. I will say this method is wrong. If you write these kind of answers, marks will be not awarded. Marks are given only for these words. These words should be definitely present. The writing biology is like that. You will understand these words have different meanings. Glossary terms. So we can understand those while you're discussing anyhow. So likewise, we do weekly tests. So your responsibility here is, so now you can see the first responsibility. Targeting weekly test. What you have to do, you have to study the content that we do in a class on the same day. Let's say if we do particular lesson in today's lesson, today, then at least tomorrow, you have to cover and understand those concepts at home. Got that? At least you have to study the content that we are doing in the class within the same week. Don't leave it to the next day. Don't leave it to the next week. Here it is underlining principle here. It is a key actually. We have to study on the same day that we learn. On the same day of learning, we have to study. On the same day, study those. At least on the next day. So here today we have to normally the online class is conducted at night. The class will be, we are starting class at 8 and sometimes it may be extended. Today we are discussing up to 10:30. Sometimes it may, based on lesson, it may be extended up to 11 as well. We are discussing, let's say we are discussing particular things within this 2.5 or 3 hour period, 3 hour period. Then you can't study the same you can't study the contents after 11. If you can, it's better. But if you can't study after 11, then at least study on the next day, tomorrow. Anyhow, during a single week, you have to cover all the things. Before coming to the next class, your responsibility is to study and understand every concept. If you have, when you are studying, while you are studying, if you face some questions, you can send those. Send those to me. You can ask questions. You can even call. If I'm not in a class, I will answer. But let's say I am not answering, that means I am in a class. Then you have to send a WhatsApp message. Send your question as a WhatsApp message. Then I will reply. If I can reply it using a few words, I will type those. Or else at least I can send you a voice message. Or else I will keep those questions to discuss in our live class. Then you can understand. Got that? So it's very simple. If you face some questions, send those. Then I can explain those again in the live class as well. Then you can clear those things. Likewise, every week you have to study. This should be continued until you face the exam. Remember, that is about weekly test. So my main purpose, there are several purposes of having weekly test here. As I told you, one main purpose is keep you in the subject, keep you touch in the subject. Second is guiding you to write a proper answer. Then you can understand the pattern of questions. Then you can understand the answering pattern. You can understand the key things. So writing questions continuously will be helpful to study as well. Then you know which content should be thoroughly studied, which words should be properly memorized. This guidance will be given during weekly test. Okay. If you have any doubts, ask. Even in the class, there's a chat box. I think you can type the question. I can see those. Then I will reply. Now here, listen and understand the process. Then while you have questions, send me. Okay, that is about weekly test. Every week. Then next, it is not over. I told you there's an organized examination pattern. We do that simultaneously with the theoretical concepts. We do this in the online class as well as in the physical class. Same process, no difference. Same explanation, same papers. All are same in physical as well as in online. Only thing is, we do not meet each other in the online class. There I can meet them. That's the difference. There's no other difference. Okay, next. Not only weekly test, we are conducting unit test. So this is an example unit test I gave for Unit 5 animal form and function. Then unit test will be a full paper. Then at the end of the Unit 1, since Unit 1 is very small, we do only the weekly test for Unit 1. All things can be covered using a weekly test in Unit 1. But from the second unit onwards, you will get unit test for each unit. We have to cover 10 units in the syllabus. Some units are very long. For an example, Unit 5, animal form and function is the longest unit. 193 periods have allocated for, 193 school periods have allocated for animal form and function. It is actually 1/3 of the syllabus. In the class also, we are discussing animal form and function for about 5 to 6 months. It's very long. Anyhow, for such long lessons, for such long units, we are conducting, for an example, we are conducting several unit tests. After covering particular section, we will do a unit test. So these are discussed, these are done together with weekly test, remember. Actually, for animal form and function, we are conducting 3 unit tests, 3 full papers. For other units, only one unit test per unit. Got that? So at the end of the unit, at the end of the discussion of the unit, together, while we are discussing theory, now on every week we are doing weekly test. Then at the end of discussing every unit, we are doing a unit test. Got that? Unit test will be a full paper. It will include MCQs, structured essays as well as essays. You will get the real feeling of writing the A-level paper or standard A-level paper in this unit test. We can time and write, as I told you earlier. Then you can even send, after writing, you can scan it, write within the exact time. I send it like that, as I told you earlier. And after writing, you can scan it and send me your answer script as a PDF. Got that? So I said we can't mark weekly tests because we are discussing those every day in the class. I can't mark those, but I will mark unit test. Your unit test will be marked. Got that? So there are some other papers, those will be marked. So what you have to do there, at the end of I will provide you a given time. You have to join you have to download the paper at that time. I will inform them earlier. You have downloaded it. Then I will give you a particular time. Write that on that time. Then at the end of, let's say, second paper of the unit test will be 3-hour paper sometimes. Then at the end of the 3-hour period, you have to scan it and send the PDF. Your answer script should be scanned and send the PDF to me. Then I will check it. Then the marked or corrected answer script will be again sent to you as a scanned PDF. Got that? Then we will have the discussion in the class. Got that? So every test will be such. All those unit tests can be marked. Then you will get a result. You will get a mark. Then you can evaluate yourselves. Then during the discussion, adjust the writing pattern. Understand the right way. Understand your errors. Got that? Then likewise, from every unit, from unit to unit, you are preparing for the exam. Step by step, we are preparing for the exam. Because all these questions are standard questions targeting for examination, targeting for A-level exam. These are challenging, remember, not easy, but we do this in an organized way to accept this challenge. You can accept this challenge with me. I will guide you how to achieve this target. Be with me throughout this process. Then follow the instruction that I am giving. Then it will be very easy. Normally, to reach a hard target, when there's a challenge, there should be an organized method. Through a methodical way, step by step, easily we can reach our target. This is the plan. Got that? Okay, these are the unit tests. Then, not only that, remember, you may think it's full of questions. Yes, it's full of questions because as I told you earlier, you have to practice questions frequently. Got that? Okay, this is about unit test. Here, these are some pictures of students. They do unit test. This is in Nigambo class. So physically, I conduct these as exams. They sit like this with spaces and write in front of me. But since you are at home, you have to write as I told you earlier. This is a picture of unit test conducted for 2027 batch. You also can write like this. Okay, here also another picture. Okay, then that's about unit test. Then we are discussing all the past paper questions. Actually, before facing the unit test, at the end of the unit, we will cover all the past paper questions. That means actually it's simply like this. We are discussing theory section by section. So I have classified all the past paper questions given from 2000 up to 2025 according to different sections. So we will do section wise prepared past paper questions. We are discussing all those past paper questions. Before the unit test, actually before doing the unit test, we will discuss all past paper questions in the class. Got that? Okay. That's about past paper questions. We are discussing past paper questions, all past paper questions from year 2000 to 2025. Up to date. Then we can conduct support term test even. We didn't do this in previous years because school terms were not regular in schools. They were not regular in schools. Their tests were conducted in different days. So it was difficult to conduct a support term test in that matter when there is no pattern. But I think from this year onwards, from your batch onwards, things will be regular in schools. Then if things go in a particular way, in a regular manner, if terms break in a regular manner, then we can do support term test as well. That means in support term test, before the school term test, 1 or 2 weeks before the school term test, we can have a support term test. Then we are discussing those support term test questions. Then you can prepare early for your school term test as well. It's very easy. So as I told you earlier, key points and the proper answering pattern is discussed in theory as well as in papers based on my experience. Then here your answer sheets will be marked according to a standard marking scheme and marks will be given. Then you will be ranked. You will be ranked in this test. Here, for an example, this is one of the examples. I put only top 10 students here from different institutes. Likewise, you will also rank together with physical students. Also, you will be ranked separately as well. Online students, the physical students will be ranked separately. Then I can pool those. You will get a rank. Then you can understand your level. It's very important. Okay. Then also here this is the theory. Then meanwhile in the theory, after about 1 year, that means the things will be forgotten. Then when we are discussing section by section, things will be forgotten with time. Let's say normally when we are discussing third or fourth unit, normally when we are coming to the fourth unit, actually, you will forget some lessons, even though we do questions continuously. You will forget some things later about after 1 year. Then if you feel that you are not comfortable with a particular section, if you feel that you are forgetting things, if you need to practice those again, then there's a chance. That is, we are conducting a separate revision paper class. It will be started after about a year. Then you can join that physical class, you can join that revision paper class as well. There I will conduct papers section by section. Section by section revision papers will be discussed. And you can write those, as I told you earlier. Then discussions are provided. In such revision papers, discussions will be given as recorded lessons. We will do the class, do the online class live like this, but those revision papers will be discussed, or discussions of those revision papers will be done as recorded lessons. But you can write those and send me your answer script to Mark. It is after 1 year. Then, as I told you, what we do in the last 5 months. Like this, we do questions as well as theory and questions completely like this. And we cover all those before 5 months. Then during last 5 months, there will be rapid revision. There will be rapid revision. Then hard sections or targeting sections for the exam will be rapidly revised using revision tools in this rapid revision. Together with the rapid revision, you can face target papers. That means model papers targeting the exam will be given continuously throughout this 5 months period. Target questions, target question papers, those will be full papers. Target question papers targeting the A-level exam will be conducted during this last 5 months. That is our plan. So you can write questions from the entire syllabus throughout the last 5 months. That's the plan. Got that? So this is my role. Then further I have to say, you can ask any questions. In the online class also, as I told you, ask any questions. You are encouraged to ask questions. I can then even in the online class, if you communicate with me, I can individually pay attention to yourself. Okay. Meanwhile, I will conduct parents meetings through live Zoom meetings. Then we can discuss the things with your parents as well. Okay. That's my plan. Then I think you can understand the process. If you have any doubts regarding that, you can ask. So your role is, what is your role in this process? First thing is, I told you to study the contents on the same week of learning. That is one of your roles. In addition, other than proper studying is essential. Studying on the same week. There are some other things that you have to follow. That is, you have to attend the class regularly. Regular attendance to the class is essential. Regular attendance. Even in the online class, regular attendance is very important. Be in the live class. Don't miss the class. Clear? Be in the live class. When we do the live class, be in the live class. It is interactive. You can ask even questions. Be in the live class. Regular attendance is important. If you miss a particular question in a particular day, I can provide you the recorded lesson. But don't rely on the recorded lesson, because you will not cover all the recorded lessons. That means if you miss some classes, those sections will be missing. Even though you get recordings, you may not have enough time to cover those. Then they will be collected. Clear? Therefore, always try to attend the class regularly. Then week by week, you can easily go to your target. Don't keep recordings to study in the next week or in the following week. Don't do that. If you miss the class somehow, I will give you the recording, but it's a different story. Then you can catch the lesson. But don't do it as a practice. Always try to be in the live class. It is very essential. Clear? අර මොනොත් වැඩ එකතු වෙනවා. ඔයා රෙකෝඩින් නිකන් සරලව කිව්වොත් රෙකෝඩඩ් ලෙසන්ස් එකතු කරගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒවා ගොඩ ගැහෙයි. හරිද? ඒතර පාඩම් කරලා ඉවර කරගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. Therefore, be in the live class always. Don't stick to recordings. Okay. Then also, here this is an online class. You will be with your phone or lap or tab or with a computer. While you are in the online class, don't click on other websites and don't watch other things in your phone. Be in the class always. Clear? Be in the class always, be live. Don't click other things on your phone. Don't reply to messages while you are getting during the class. Clear? Don't do those mistakes. It will be totally distracting. Here, when I'm conveying the lesson, you will be in a different world. Clear? Then things will not go into your mind properly. If you miss a particular moment, let's say while we are discussing, you will miss a particular moment. You will be distracted by a message. You are going to, while you are in the class, you are going to reply for that message in a social WhatsApp group or somewhere, Instagram or something. Then you will miss the things that I am saying in that moment. Then when you again enter the lesson, you may not understand. Why? Because things in A-levels are actually stories. There are continuous processes. We have to explain step by step, simply. So in this process, while we're explaining particular things step by step, let's say you miss a particular part, then you can understand the next. Therefore, don't do that mistake. While you are in the class, focus on the class. Don't allow your mind to set with other things in the at home as well as in your phone. Clear? Don't click on other links. Don't watch any other things. Keep that in mind. You should have a self-discipline. You should have a keen interest. Clear? In this process. Don't click on those things. And also it's better in your free time also, it's better to reduce your social media usage time. Reduce the time given for social media. It is because it is very distracting for the A-levels. Keep a separate time to do those, but while you are studying, don't do that. Clear? That means it also totally distracting. Let's say, as an example, while you are studying a particular hard lesson or anything, you keep your phone with you while you are studying. Here you have your note and the phone. Then what you do? You read a particular section and try to memorize it and try to understand. While you are trying this, your phone will be vibrating or it will be ringing. Then what happens? You will be focused on your phone. You will get a message from your friend. Then you will reply for that. Then what happened to the hard concept that you are trying to understand? It will be over. If you go to the lesson again, when you come to the tute again or note again, you can't focus on that. In chemistry, physics, as well as in biology, there are stories. There are processes. Got that? Not only facts. You have to understand this logically. Then your mind should be free. You have to focus on the lesson. You should not have any distractions. Therefore, keep your phone away while you are studying. Clear? Don't try to respond to messages. Don't try to watch social media or YouTube or any other thing while you are studying the note. You should have the discipline to have this A or to get a good rank. I think you can understand me. You get the idea, I think, because if you go to the note, if you go to the phone, it will be totally distracting. So therefore, keep a separate time to interact with your friends, to interact with social media. Keep a separate time. When you have leisure time, do that. But when you are studying, please don't do that. It will be totally distracting. That means you have to reduce the phone usage as well. Clear? In the online class, you can do that, but use the device wisely. We can use this device wisely. Clear? Got that? Don't misuse that. Okay. Then you can reduce this time of phone usage by interacting with some other things. If you are addicted, if you are a good musician, practice those. I think sometimes you can play guitar. You may be a musician. You may be a violinist or guitarist, pianist, or sometimes you may be a singer. Sometimes you may be a good sportsman. Engage with those. Reduce the time engage with social media. No use. Remember, therefore, engage with some other activities. Do a sport. Do music. If you can do painting, drawing, draw those. It will relax your mind. It will be a booster for studying as well. It keeps your circulation, immunity, and the nervous system, your coordination well. It will be highly helpful to study, to focus on this. But don't addict it for those. Don't addict for those. Do those extracurricular activities at leisure time. Do music, do painting. If you can swim at leisure time, then it will keep your body healthy. It will be very helpful to focus on studies. It will keep your mind healthy. It will be helpful to focus on studies. Then meanwhile, while you are engaging with those extracurricular activities, sports and other things, you can reduce the phone usage and social media usage. And you can focus on study. Got that? Okay, keep that in mind. But remember, then another thing, you may be in several societies in the school. Sometimes you may do different sports in the school. Sometimes you may be a prefect in the school. Do those things, but remember to balance those things here. In A levels, not like O levels, you have to give priorities. Actually, A level journey is it's somewhat like a training period for your next life or for your next 30 or 40 years of your life. But everything that means what we do during next 2 years, it will be the key for your next 40 or 50 years. මේ අවුරුදු දෙකේ කරන දේ තමයි ඔයාගේ කී එක වෙන්නේ ඊළඟ අවුරුදු 40 50 ජීවත් වෙන්න. හරිද? If you misuse this 2-year period, your life will be completely different. It will be deviated from your target. Sometimes it will be unsatisfied. You have to, then it may suffer until you are death. මරණකම suffer කරන්න වෙයි සමහරවිට. ඒකින්ද මේ අවුරුදු දෙකේ කරන දේ තමයි effective වෙන්නේ ඊළඟ අවුරුදු 40 50 හරි ජීවත් වෙන්න. අනේ සරවණ සිංහලනොත් කිව්වා. Remember, therefore, properly use this 2-year period. That means I ask you to do extracurricular activity, do sports, do music, do painting, do engage with societies and do social work. You have to do everything because education is not only learning. Your personality should be developed. Your attitude should be developed. That is also part of the education. Remember. But remember, as I told you again, you should have a priority list. You have to balance all these things in A levels. That's why I said that this is actually a training. So give priority to A levels. In the priority list, first priority should be given to A levels. Remember that. Priority then A level studies. First your studies. Then at leisure time, engage with other activities. Got that? Okay. These are the things that you have to normally follow other than studying. Clear? Okay, then here there's a question. here asking, can I join both online and physical? It's like this. Then here you can join, but physical classes are conducted not in my institute. Physical classes are conducted in other institutes. Then definitely they will charge the fee. Got that? Then they will definitely charge the fee for physical. That normally, therefore, it's be difficult to be in both online and physical classes. They will charge a separate fee for physical because those are institutes. I can't ask them to give free attendance for online students. Normally, we can't do that because they will not allow us to do that. So it's difficult. Therefore, try to be in one of the classes, physical or online. Okay. It will be difficult because it's not my institute. If I do classes in my institute, then I can allow you. But we do classes in separate institutes. They have their regulations, so it'd be difficult. Okay. There's another question. Likewise, if you have, okay, exactly. If you have questions, if you have any doubts regarding this process, you can ask. Monohara doubts is what we do in the class. Class this is the introduction. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. Likewise, follow these things properly. Be with me in the class. I will give you a study plan. While we are discussing, I will tell you the studying methods. Then everything in the syllabus can't be studied in the same way. Different methods can be used. Methods use from section to section, from part to part. Studying methods will be vary. There are effective studying methods. I will tell you. You can use your own methods as well. But as I understood, I will give instructions on studying. So sometimes there are easy ways to memorize. Okay, and also there's one more thing. While you are studying, so if I ask, first of all, what do you do in studying? What do you think? Studying is remember, studying is not reading. Then these methods are wrong. Remember those. I will give instructions regarding proper studying. If you want to study here in A levels, we have to study the content. While we are studying, we have to understand the process. We have to understand the concepts. And meanwhile, we have to memorize those. We have to study the contents. Meanwhile, we have to understand and memorize. All these things should be satisfied. Then here, if you do just reading and try to understand, this is not the correct way. Make a correct with your naming. Sometimes think like this, while you are reading, you may understand. It doesn't mean that things are in your mind. Clear? Here, we said that, I told you, while we are understanding, while we are reading and understanding, we have to memorize those. Got that? We memorize karaganna. We have to memorize those. So if you just read and try to understand, things will not go to your mind. You can't memorize. But having a good memory is very important to write the exam. That means simply, if you just understand a particular thing, it doesn't mean that you can write. Okay, that's why you have to practice questions to understand the writing pattern. Clear? Therefore, then it is somewhat like, in other words, let's say you are reading a newspaper, or you are reading a novel or article. You can understand that. But can you memorize each and everything in the same way as in the newspaper or in the novel? Let's say after reading a newspaper, a question paper will be given to you based on the newspaper. Let's say regarding the contents of the Sunday Times last Sunday, you are reading the Sunday Times, Observer, then you can understand those. Then a paper will be given. Can you write answers in the same way as in the Sunday Times? Or based on a novel given to you, based on the novel that you are reading, a paper will be given. Can you answer for that exact in the same way with difficulty? But you can understand while you are reading the novel or newspaper. That means understand. Remember here, understand here. Just reading and understanding is not the process, not the way. තේරෙනවද කියව එක? කියවලා තේරුම් ගත්තා කියන එක විතරක් මදි questions වලට answer කරන්න. ඒක නෙමෙයි විදිහ. කියවලා තේරුම් අරගන්න ඕනේ තමයි. We have to read and understand. That is essential. But meanwhile we are understanding, we have to memorize those. Okay, just reading is not enough therefore. It is somewhat like reading a newspaper and it will be forgotten. So that's not the correct way. And also some students just cram the contents. ඒගොල්ලෝ නිකන් cram කරනවා. Cramming is not the way. Can cramming කියලා කියන්නේ these are different things. Then when I ask you to study, you may think, the sir asked us to cram. No, I am not asking to cram. පාඩම් කරනවා කියන්නේ cram කරනවා කියන එකම නෙමෙයි. දැන් cramming කරනකොට සමහරවිට අපි හිතමු one sentence is repeated for 10 times or 100 times and try to memorize. They keep their eyes closed and read the sentence loudly for 10 times or 100 times and try to remember the rhythm. It's somewhat like cramming. It's not the way. ඒකත් නෙමෙයි පාඩම් කරනවා කියන්නේ. That's not the way of studying. Remember. Clear? So don't follow these things. Don't just read the contents as a newspaper. Don't just repeat the contents 10 times or 100 times until it will be in your mind. That's not the correct way. Clear? When we are studying, as I told you, three things should be satisfied. Understanding, reading properly, understanding and memorizing. You have to understand each and everything with a memory. That means නිකන් ඔය කියවන එක 10 පාරක් 100 පාරක් කියවුවාම සමහරවිට ඒක ටික කාලයකට that will be in your mind for some time. 1 or 2 days or at least sometimes for a week. After that it will be forgotten. Clear? It will be difficult. It will be a problem. ඒකින්ද use several methods. I will tell you different methods. Sometimes we use diagrams. Sometimes we can prepare flowcharts. We can summarize the contents into tables. We can prepare short notes. Clear? I will tell you, I will guide you to prepare those things. Using such materials, you can memorize. And meanwhile, we have to do all these questions to practice. Then things will be in your mind. Read and understand. And also practice. Practice කරන්න. හරිද? මේක නිකන් කියවලා අතාරලා බෑ. මෙමරි එකේ තියෙන්න ඕන. ඒතර short notes prepare කරන්න තියෙනවා. ඊට diagrams use කරගන්න තියෙනවා. හරිද? We have to use diagrams, we have to prepare short notes. Clear? We have to, after reading and understanding a particular section, we have at the same time after reading and understanding, we have to write the contents as essays. I think you haven't write essays in your I levels. But here we have to write essay questions. Those are explanations or descriptions. We will do those in the class. Then you can understand the pattern. Then after understanding the pattern in first few days, you can write the contents as essays. These are stories actually. So we have to memorize them as stories. So writing essay is a key here. Clear? ඒ වගේ practice කරලා මේක මතක තියාගන්න ඕන. නිකන් කියවලා අතහැරලා තේරුම් ගන්නට මේක ප්‍රශ්නවලට උත්තර ලියන්න බෑ. ඒක ඔලුවට දාගන්න ඕන. හරිද? මෙතන අහනවා question එකක් තව how the papers will be sent to us කියලා. I said PDF of the paper will be sent to as the tutors. PDF of the paper will be sent to the group. Group එකට මම paper එක send කරනවා. You have to download it and you can get a print out even if you need. Then you can write. Or else I can post the papers early, but then if we time and write in a particular time, sending the papers through post will be difficult. Then it will be not working. PDF තමයි එවන්න වෙන්නේ. ඒතර තමයි time කරලා ඒ වෙලාව ලියන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. Okay. Okay. Then we can go through the process like that. It's very simple. If you follow the instructions, the process will be very simple. Then you can go to your targets. You will be the doctor, scientists, lecturers, or teachers, molecular biologists. You can go to your target. Here, these are some students in past few years who have followed the instructions in the proper way. These are some of the students who got selected to medical faculty in 2024 A-levels. Here, among them, there was Gampa district 3rd. All these are English medium students. You know, in every district, only few students facing exam in English medium. Thousands of single medium, among thousands of single medium students, very few English medium students face for the exam. Here in Gampa district also, very few English medium students facing the exam compared to single medium students. Thousands of single medium students are there, but only few English medium students. Here, among them, we were able to guide them for a good result. Here, among thousands of single medium students, here there were English medium students among first few ranks. Clear? Gampa district 3rd, sorry. Gampa district 3rd in 2024 was in our class. Dihen Ratnayaka from Lyceum International Schools, Gampa. Then the other one was Gampa district 8. That means within first 10 ranks, we had 2 in Gampa district. From very few students, among very few students. Then Colombo district 21 from Ananda. Again, Gampa district 54 from Lyceum International School, 56, 63, 65, 84, 90, 89, 91. This Gampa district 96. You can see how many students are there from Gampa district. Within first 100 ranks in Gampa district, within first 100 ranks, there are 10 English medium students. Even within in my class, there are 10 English medium students within first 100. Palani seeing the Hadinek Ape class. There are 10, 3rd, 8, 54, 56, 63, 65, 84, 89, 91, and 96. There are 10 English medium students from my class within first 100 rankers. There were only few English medium students. Then in this class, there were only 80 students in this batch in Gampa class. Among these 80 students, 10 students were within first 100 ranks. Then when 80 students of my class, English medium students in my class face the exam, thousands of single medium students in other classes face to the same exam. My class එක ළමයි 80ක් English medium වලින් exam එකට face කරනකොට ඒගොල්ලත් එක්ක 10 ගණක් single medium students, thousands of single medium students face to the same exam with these 80 students of me. But at the end, out of the first 100, 10 were present in my class. There were thousands of single medium students. They got only other 90 ranks. Clear? English medium classes my class first 100 English medium among 1,000 single medium students. I hope you will be in first few ranks in your particular districts in 2028. I hope to show your face to future students like this. To be in this list, you have to work with me as I am instructed. All these students who got selected to medical faculty in past few years followed the instructions very well. To the group, I will send some voice cards given by the students. When their results released in 2024, I asked them to speak to the students. I didn't say anything. I didn't instruct them on their speak. I asked them to guide students, but guide students as you did. They gave good speech. I recorded those actually. They are in my YouTube channel as well. You can go there and see, or else I will send those links in YouTube. Then you can watch those. There are good instructions. Balande watch kala they have got there are so many things that you can gather from these students. They follow the instructions very well. They do all these papers in a proper way. They study as I ask you to do. Same pattern. This method, I use this method for many years. I started classes, English medium classes in 2014. That means before that I did single medium as well. In 2014, I started English medium classes in institutes. Even before I started English medium classes as small group classes at home and individual classes in institutes, mass classes, group classes were started from 2014. From that point onwards, I used this method. It was very successful. Many students in Gampar district selected to medical faculty in every year. This was the result in last year. All those students follow the instructions properly. Then finally they will be end up like this. So I hope you will also follow the same instructions, and I hope to show your faces like this to future students. Clear? You will be in good ranks. Follow the instructions. Do it simply. But remember, keep your mind relaxed. I always ask to relax your mind. Don't get an extra stress. Don't be stressed. We have to be relaxed. You can do this in a relaxed way. That means you can relax your mind if you follow the instructions. If you study daily, it will take only few hours to cover the contents. If you keep the contents to study in next week or next month, then it will be loaded. Then it will be difficult. Clear? Then studying daily will be helpful to be relaxed. Then you will have more leisure time to do other things as well. Do the questions properly. Be in the plan. Then it will be very easy. Then even without bothering it, that means even without any stress, you can smoothly go to your target. All the students did like that. Be relaxed. Don't be stressed. Very easy pathway. All things are highly organized. You just have to follow those. So this is 2024 results. In previous years also, top rankers in Gampar and Colombo district were in our English medium class. Here, this was Gampar district 8, 10, 13, 15. Here, so many students like that. In past 5 years, who got selected to medical faculty. These were only students who got selected to medical faculty. First few ranks in Colombo, Gampar districts. Among first few ranks. There are so many students who got selected to other faculties as well. Here, I put the pictures of only medical students here. Some of the students who got selected to medical faculty didn't enter medical faculty. Some of the students who were eligible, who were selected to medical faculty, started to follow some other courses. For an example, in last year also in 2023 even, several students who got selected to medical faculty didn't do medicine. They did some other courses like molecular biology, bioscience. There are so many other students who got selected to other university courses. I didn't put those results here. If you collectively consider the university entrance students, there was a countless number. I can't even count those. Clear? Therefore, remember, follow these instructions very smoothly. You can go to your target. These are some other students. Okay, from different schools. Okay. Then if you have any doubts, again, I ask you to ask those questions. Then if you don't have any questions, we can go to the lesson. Introduction is over. That introduction means the things that we are doing in the class is already discussed now. If you have any doubts regarding this, you can just ask. මොනවාරි question එකක් තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. Type the question here, then I can answer. Look at that. Don't you have? If you don't have any questions, then we can move to the first unit, Introduction to Biology. First unit is Introduction to Biology. We have 10 units. First unit is the smallest one. Only five school periods have allocated for that. We can start it today. We can get an idea about the subject today. That is a part of the first unit, Introduction to Biology. We can discuss what biology is and what are the branches of the subject. Few things like that can be discussed at the beginning. Okay, shall we move to the lesson then? Before that, sorry. You have to develop 4 skills actually. I forgot that. You have to develop 4 skills. Skills 4 develop karaganna. So before moving to the first unit, Introduction to Biology, I will teach you those skills. That you have to develop these skills. These are actually pillars of learning. To learn something properly, to understand something properly, you have to stick to these skills. Or you have to be on these pillars. When you practice කරන්න ඕන. මොනවද ඒ ඔන්න බලන්න. What are the skills that you have to develop in this journey? This is the first skill or first lesson that you have to first skill that you have to develop. First lesson. Do you know the difference between listening and hearing? Do you know the difference between listening and hearing? So among these two things, there are differences. There are differences between listening and hearing processes. What you have to do in the class? Listening or hearing. Remember, you have to listen. Don't just hear. That means what's the difference between these two? You have to listen. Don't just hear. That means during listening, if you say, if you get hearing is simply effortless. It is non-intentional. It is not focused. We just hear many things, but we do not focus on those. Hearing is such a process. It's not intentional. It is not focused. It is effortless. We do not try to understand what we hear. That way is not helpful in studying. That way is not helpful in learning. You have to listen. Here, look at this. While you are listening, you try to understand. You will be focused. Here, it says effective listening requires an understanding. Remember, that means while you are listening on something, you try to understand. While you are listening, you try to understand. So it says, therefore, effective listening requires an understanding. And that it is not just the speaker's responsibility to make sure he or she is understood. And here, if I further explain this, we convey the contents in an understandable way, in simplest way. But the responsibility of understanding is with you. We can convey the things in an understandable way. We can explain simply, but your responsibility is you have the responsibility to understand. Try to understand. Then you have to listen. So, as I told you, remember, hearing is accidental, involuntary, effortless. We are not focused on that. But listening is highly focused. You pay attention to that. voluntary. It is, listening is a voluntary process. Voluntary means, voluntary, what is the meaning of voluntary? Voluntary means we think and do something, then it is voluntary. After thinking, we do something. You know, I think you have learned skeletal muscles are voluntary. What does that mean? We think and control the contraction of skeletal muscles. It is under the conscious mind, conscious control, voluntary. While you are listening, your mind will go to other things, but try to practice to focus on the lesson. Practice to focus on the lesson. Since we are humans, our minds will go in different ways. It's been difficult, I know it's been difficult to focus on one thing. While you are listening to the lesson, your mind will go to some other things. But when your mind shift to other things, try to understand. Here I am moving away from the lesson. Just sense it and again quickly come to the lesson. Try to be focused. So practice. Listening is very important. Practice it. This is the key actually to learn anything clearly, to understand anything properly. Listening is the key. This is not applicable only for A-levels. This is applicable for lifetime. When you study something, when you learn something, listening is the key. This is highly important if you practice listening capacity. If you practice to listen in A-levels, it will be highly helpful in your university studies as well. You should be a good listener. Remember, that's the key. Second is systematic observation. This is second skill. You don't just look at something. Always you try to observe systematically. Clear? Observe something systematically. Let's say I'm drawing a diagram on the board. Observe it. That means, what's the difference between this observation, proper or systematic observation, and just looking at? While we are observing, again, as I told you, we try to understand using our senses. We can feel it. We focus on that. We try to understand. Clear? So observe things systematically. Then you will get questions as well. Clear? Remember, you should be a good observer, secondly. Third is imagination. Imagination is very important. Let's say, for an example, when we are discussing the part of the human body, like here, like human kidneys. While I'm explaining, I will explain using diagrams, pictures, clear, and also real examples. You use and explain. You have to focus on that. You have to listen. You have to observe them carefully and imagine. Here, this as an example, this describes the location of the human kidney. While I'm explaining the location of human kidney, you can imagine. You have to imagine how kidneys are found within your body. Stick to your body and think according to the description how my kidneys are arranged. Just imagine. You can see them in pictures, but using the pictures, try to understand your body. Imagine. Even before looking at a picture, based on the description, you can imagine. Notice this is not applicable only for animals. But let's say we are discussing photosynthesis process. We can use videos to understand what actually happened within a chloroplast. I will send you those videos while we are discussing those. We can use pictures. Then think like that you are near the chloroplast. And think, don't just try to memorize, or don't just try to read the text and try to memorize those words. Imagine or think you are near the chloroplast. Photosynthesis occurs just in front of you. Imagine කරන්න මේවා plant එක ඇතුලේ ඉන්නවා වගේ කියලා හිතන්න. මේමයි වෙන්නේ. හරි ෂෝක් මේක එතකොට. It's very interesting. Rather than reading the book and try to memorize the words, you will be in your body. You will be inside the plant. Think like that. I am near the chloroplast. Clear? Got chlorophyll pigments near me, absorb light. Then what happened to them? Think like that. It's very interesting. Imagination is important. Then imagination also important for physics as well. When you are discussing linear movements or circular movements, hydrostatics, it will be highly important. Let's say a vehicle is moving. You have to feel that you are in the vehicle. Then you can feel the forces. You can apply those in questions. Clear? Imagination is very important, and also imagination help you to find new things. It is a pathway for innovations. Clear? Scientists imagine those. Scientists imagine on different things. Sometimes after imagination, after thinking, oh, they made hypotheses, then they follow those. So try to imagine. The last skill that you have to practice is analyzing, asking questions, analyzing. Make a practice. Reasoning and analysis. Always try to understand. I told you earlier, the key behind A levels is 100% understanding. So always ask why. Try to understand everything with a reason. Biology is not a subject to cram. We said that biology can be, that in biology we study nature. Remember, every phenomena in nature has a reason. So why we just study a subject with reasons? Why we just cram a subject with reasons? අයි අපි මේ reason තියෙන subject එකක් නිකන් ඔය පොත් කටපාඩම් කරන්නේ. It's useless. We have to understand everything with reasons. Then it will be in your mind for long time. If you just cram, it will be forgotten very easily, very quickly. But always ask the question why, analyze the things, and try to find the reason. Learn with reasons. Biology is also a logical subject, highly applicable subject. We discuss the nature, we are learning natural processes. Then every natural process have a reason. So we'll try to do like that. Okay, now after discussing those skills, now we are moving to the first unit. Then tamawani unit eකට enne, as I told you. Introduction to biology. I send the tube to you. You can use that. Okay, on the first page, on the tube, you can see the word biology is described. So this term biology derived from two Greek words actually. What are those two Greek words? First is bios. Term biology was derived from two Greek words. First term was bios. Next is logos. What's the meaning? What are the meanings of this? Bios means life or living organisms. Logos means simply study of. So what biology is actually? Biology means study of life. Life means there is no real definition for life, but here as life we study living organisms. We study human and surrounding living organisms, including plants, animals, microorganisms. Those will be studied, their structure, their function, their arrangement, their ecology, their interactions with the environment, their evolution. All these things will be studied in biology. That means simply, in other words, we study nature. This is a scientific study of living organisms. We study natural phenomena. That's why I said that this is a highly logical subject. Every phenomena in nature has a reason. We have to study with reasons. I will explain all the reasons at your level. Then try to understand. Be focused. Okay, simply therefore we can say biology is a science which is focused on studying of living organisms. So what do you think? What may be the importance of studying biology? What may be the importance of studying biology? You study biology to get a good result, to get a good A, and to be selected to the medical faculty. I know that. Or to enter to different other university courses. But actually, what is the major importance of studying biology? It is not entering to the medical faculty. This is the major importance of studying biology, general importance. It is said it is essential for all individuals to coexist successfully with biotic and abiotic environment. What is the meaning of biotic? You know that. Biotic means, the term biotic means living. If you can't If you don't know those, you can just note there in your note. These are in your note. This is the first part of the syllabus. Remember, we have to understand the subject. That's the first part. Biotic means living. Abiotic means you know that it is non-living. Non-living. Okay. That means at the end of learning, you will be understand how to live successfully with surrounding living and non-living organisms. You will develop a sense on nature at the end of the journey. Okay, that's the beginning. Again, remember, this is not a subject to cram. Subject, it's not needed to feed the subject forcefully like this. Like here in this picture, you can see this mother and the son is within a box. That means they are in a frame. In cramming, we stick to a frame and try to feed like this, try to feed things within the frame like this. We can feed and try. It will be easily forgotten. But think out of frame. Look at the reasons. Then try to understand. We can do like that. We can discuss biology like that. Here, therefore, I use a motto here. What is that? Let's learn and realize biology without cramming. We don't try to cram subject. We try to understand this. You will helpful. It will be helpful in your university or higher studies as well. We can get a good foundation. We can build a good foundation in A levels. You can understand the concepts as they are. Then you can use those in your universities as well. It will be highly helpful. Okay, we said biology defines nature. So be in the subject, love the subject, then be a part of it, be a part of nature. Then you can feel the wonder of it. It is important. Be in the subject always. Hamadisama subject in. Think like a biologist. Be in nature. Be a part of nature. Think as a part of nature. So it is very important because we are discussing natural phenomena. We are providing reasons and explaining natural things. There are so many real examples that you can see in your surrounding. So many natural examples that we can see in our surrounding are in the syllabus. Sometimes those things may be in your mind. Sometimes those regarding the natural phenomena, you may have questions from your young ages. Regarding your surrounding, you may have questions from your young ages. You will get a good explanation for such questions regarding your surrounding through this A level. Because many real examples in our surrounding are in the subject with scientific explanations. So be in the subject, be in nature, be a part of nature, experience your surrounding, experience your environment. It is very important. Then you can understand that if you have seen or if you have experienced something in nature, and let's say that is in your mind, while we are explaining the scientific background behind that, then you can easily understand that because you have the experience. It will be in your mind for a long time. Be with nature. This is not a subject to study within a classroom, or this is not a subject to study within a classroom. This is a subject to study the nature, then be with the surrounding. Okay. These are some natural phenomena. Then we can discuss those camouflage. මේක එක නිකන් මම process එකක් වෙලා දාලා තියෙන්නේ evolution ගැන අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. හා ඒක හරි. ඊට පස්සේ බලමු මෙන්න මෙහෙම. දැන් as I told you, here we are discussing introduction. We are discussing biologies. And today we learn modern biology. Biology subject has developed during last 5 decades. There were huge developments in the field of biology in last 5 decades. But there were many scientists, there were many individuals contributed in different ways for this development. When we understand the subject, we should know the history. We should know the landmarks. While we are discussing these landmarks or history of biology, you will understand how these individuals have contributed for the modern developed biology. These were the landmarks. These were some individuals, some key persons who contributed for the development of the field of biology. So we'll quickly go through those. I think you know these. Who is this? This was Aristotle. Aristotle he engaged in different works. What he did, he said Aristotle was the first person to scientifically classify living organisms. Aristotle classified living organisms scientifically first. He was the first person to classify living organisms scientifically. What he did, he classified living organisms into two main groups as plants and animals. Further, he classified plants according to their habits like herbs, shrubs, trees, classified. It is said this was the first scientific classification. Why classification is that much important in biology? Classification plays a key role in biology. Why? Because we said we are studying nature, we study living organisms. Before studying living organisms, before studying their structure, function, evolution, interactions, before studying those concepts or things in organisms, first we have to identify. We have to identify the organism, then only we can study that. We can study the organism after identification. So classification is very important in identification. Classification is the key for identification. That's another thing. Classification and nomenclature. Nomenclature means then what is meant by classification? Simply classification means arrangement of organisms into groups based on common criteria. Arrangement of organisms into different groups based on their common characteristics. It is what classification is. We can discuss classification systems and in Unit 3 as well. Classification as well as nomenclature are very important in identification of organisms. We know now what classification is. So what is nomenclature? Nomenclature means providing names to organisms, naming organisms, naming species of organisms. You know, Linnaeus proposed a method called binomial nomenclature. That's a method of scientific nomenclature. That's a method that we are using today to name organisms. So we using classification systems and nomenclature. We using classification systems, we classify organisms. Then using nomenclature systems, we provide name for organisms. Based on that, we identify organisms. After identifying, we can study. So that's how classification and nomenclature contribute in studying living organisms. So classification and nomenclature play a key role in biology. So you can see several landmarks. Landmarks are related to this classification and nomenclature. Okay, then next. This is the history. You know this. Look at this. You know this person. Who was this? Who is this? This is Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. What he did? He was the first to use a simple microscope to observe living organisms. Using a simple microscope, this was the simplest microscope used by Anton van Leeuwenhoek. Using this simple microscope, he observed and successfully recorded living organisms, unicellular organisms like bacteria, euglena. That was the first record of living organisms using a microscope. It was a major turning point. This was the major turning point for the development of microscopy, because he was the first person to use a microscope, simple microscope. Very simple structure, but that was the beginning. Then I think you know this. Flowers garden pea plants or flowers. Who is this? This is Gregor Mendel. Mendel. Mendel was a monk, not a scientist. Mendel is considered as the father of genetics. What he did, he carried out experiments using this plant called garden pea plant and proposed laws or proposed some ideas regarding the heredity. So what is heredity? What the heredity can lamai? Heredity means passing genes from one generation to the next generation. That is heredity. You know, he proposed 2 laws regarding heredity. That's a fundamental in genetics. Do you know Mendel's ideas were not accepted by scientists at that time? Mendel was a monk. Those ideas of Mendel's were rejected by scientists. Mendel's idea rejected. Clear? They were not laws at the time he proposed those. They were rejected. Scientists didn't accept those. Clear? Scientists considered Mendel as a mad monk. නිකන් පිස්සු monk කෙනෙක් consider කරේ ගණන් ගත්තේ නෑ කියපු දේවල්. But later, do you know, later after discovery of the microscope, after producing the microscope, scientists observe the behavior of chromosomes in mitosis and meiosis. Specifically, after studying the behavior of chromosomes in meiosis, after observing the behavior of chromosomes in meiosis using microscope, they found that behavior of chromosomes in meiosis is exactly similar to the ideas proposed by Mendel. Then they started to believe and accept the ideas of Mendel. Yeah. ඉතින් පස්සා Mendel believe කරන්න, Mendel ideas accept කරන්න. Then ideas proposed by Mendel became 2 laws of heredity. That's the beginning. Today in modern biology there are many novel developments and applications related to genetics. But the key or the fundamentals of genetics were discussed by Mendel. That's why this became a huge landmark. Without Mendel, no idea about genetics at that time. Genetics වල heredity වල molecular biology development වලට ලොකු contribution එකක් කරපු කෙනෙක් තමයි කවුද මේ monk Mendel. Okay, that's why it became a huge landmark for the development of the modern biology. Then who is this? We mentioned this person. This is Carolus Linnaeus. You know, we all know Carolus Linnaeus proposed method to classify organisms scientifically. He proposed binomial nomenclature system to classify organisms. We discussed the importance of classification. Linnaeus classification systems, binomial nomenclature method. Binomial nomenclature is a scientific nomenclature method, even that we use today. අදත් use කරන්නේ ඒක එතකොට. මේ කවුද? Who are these scientists? Here, these were Matthias Leiden, Theodor Schwann, and Rudolf Virchow. Virchow was a Russian, so his name is normally pronounced as Virchow. Matthias Leiden, Theodor Schwann, and Rudolf Virchow. They proposed a theory, simple theory called cell theory. At the time, nothing was known about cell. Based on their findings, they proposed the fundamental concepts or fundamental idea about the cell theory, about cell, that is cell theory. I think you have learned cell theory in O levels as well. In A levels also, simply we are discussing cell theory. Today, we discuss cellular processes, even at microscopic level, at molecular level, we are discussing the processes, but the fundamental ideas about the cell were proposed by these 3 scientists. You know, father of evolution is Darwin. Darwin's proposed theory of natural selection. So he considered as the father of evolution. But have you heard that, like Darwin, there were some other scientists there were some other scientists who proposed different ideas regarding evolution. There was such a scientist called Lamarck. Lamarck proposed a different idea regarding evolution. It is commonly known as Lamarck's theory on evolution. He used giraffes. He used he in his examples he described how giraffe's neck was elongated as a result of this evolutionary process. We can discuss this earlier. Simply if I say you may think this was a mad idea, this is a mad idea, but it is actually not. You may think this may be a mad idea, this is not acceptable, but it's not like that. You can understand the theory or basic principles underlining this while we are discussing future lessons. Only the example given by Lamarck was mad, but actually sometimes we don't know whether it is happening or not. Anyhow, what Lamarck said, Lamarck used two principles in explaining his theory. එයාගේ theory explain කරන්න explaining theory, evolutionary theory, he used two principles. We are learning those. We can discuss this in future with more details. Until then, I will simply mention those principles. Lamarck used two principles in explaining the evolutionary theory. The two principles used by Lamarck were, first principle is known as use and disuse. Current principle use and disuse. Second principle proposed by Lamarck regarding evolution is inheritance of acquired characteristics. Inheritance of acquired characteristics. Describing the first principle, use and disuse, what Lamarck said. Don't try to memorize. I'm just explaining the subject. නිකම්ම subject එක explain කරන එක මේ මොන වගේ එකක්ද කියන එක මේ history එකේ. Later we are discussing this thoroughly, and then you can understand and memorize. Just listen and try to understand. No need to memorize at this moment. You can memorize this later. Explaining the first principle, use and disuse, what Lamarck said that parts of the body that are used extensively become large and stronger. What did he said? Parts of the body that are used extensively become large and stronger. As an example for that, he said, earliest giraffes. He said earlier giraffes had short necks, but during a food scarcity at the ground level, that earlier giraffes with short necks stretch their necks to feed on leaves at upper branches of the trees. Giraffe stretch their neck to feed on leaves at upper branches of the trees. Due to continuous attempts, since giraffe continuously stretch their neck to feed on leaves at upper branches, during that lifetime, giraffes' necks were slightly elongated. That's the idea. Clear? That's why he said parts of the body that are used extensively become large and stronger. Explaining that, he said giraffe stretch their neck to feed on leaves at upper branches. That means giraffe extensively use their neck. As a result of extensive stretching or usage of the neck was slightly elongated during a single lifespan. That's what Lamarck said. That is, Lamarck said, likewise, due to extensive usage, organisms acquire different characteristics according to their environment during the lifetime. Within a single lifetime, according to the environment, organisms acquire different characteristics by extensive usage. That was the idea of Lamarck. Then it was related to the second principle. In the second principle, he said, now due to extensive usage, organisms acquire characteristics according to the environment. Then in the second principle, he said these acquired characteristics as adaptations to the environment can pass to the offspring generation. Organisms acquire characteristics during the lifespan according to the environment. Then they can pass these characters to the next generation. Let's say parent acquire particular character due to extensive usage. during the lifetime. It is passed to the offspring. Then at birth, offspring will have the character acquired by the parent. Then that offspring also pass the character. Then offspring also acquire or develop that character. Then it can be passed to the next generation. To explain that, he used again the giraffe's idea. He said that first generation giraffes stretched their necks. As a result, giraffe's neck was slightly elongated. Then this acquired character or slightly elongated neck character passed to the next offspring generation. In the first offspring generation also, giraffes did the same. They also stretched their necks to feed on leaves at upper branches. Then in the second generation, or in that offspring generation, giraffe neck was slightly elongated. Likewise, from generation to generation, giraffe neck was slightly elongated and passed that character to the next generation. As a continuation of this process through many generations, giraffe neck was elongated. Ekai idea. Then sometimes you may think Lamarck was mad. But there's a hidden principle behind this. You will understand that while we are discussing future lessons. For now, at this moment, I will say actually this scientists in this era, in this period, scientists actually test on, they do research and test theory of Lamarck. This is the era of Lamarck actually. මේ Lamarck theory එකේ මොකක්ද underlining principle එක කියලා තමයි scientists දැන් අද check කරන්නේ. දන්නවද? ඒ කියන්නේ Lamarck කියන්නේ according to the environment organisms acquire characteristics during the lifetime නේ. According to the environment, organisms acquire characteristics during the lifetime. Then therefore their characters change according to the environment during the lifetime. And those changed characters can pass to the next generation. According to the environment, characters will change. Then those characters will pass to the next generation. Scientists today searching or they carry research to understand how characters of organisms, expression of characters of organisms vary or change according to the environment. That means they are studying the environment influence on expressing the characters. We'll understand in future as we know earlier, characters in organisms were expressed according to the genetic information found in their DNA. Today, it is a known fact that not only the genetic information of DNA, environment also influence on expressing the characters. Scientists try to understand how environment influence on expressing the genetic information stored in genes. That is the today's idea. The field of genetics that discuss the environment influence on expressing characters is called epigenetics. It's a novel field in genetics. Epigenetics එක තමයි අද discuss කරන field එක. ලෝකේ. හරි. අපි ඔය පස්සේ බලමු. දැන් ඔය දැනට කිව්වේ. කියන්නේ බලන්න මම මේ here I explained there how these small things in history contributed to the modern development of biology. Today scientists discussing epigenetics. It's the most novel field in genetics. But the underlying principle to this epigenetics was first proposed by Lamarck many years before. That's why we said these landmarks are very crucial. These individuals provide good ideas for the development of modern biology. So before discussing the subject, we should know this. That's a part of the first unit, Introduction to Biology. Okay. Then all of us know Darwin's theory of evolution. He was the father of evolution. Do you know who are these two? They proposed the accepted model of DNA. Double helical structure was proposed by these two. These are Watson Crick, James Watson and Francis Crick. These two, Watson and Crick, proposed accepted model of DNA. Their proposed model was considered as double helical structure of DNA. I think you know they got the Nobel Prize for their description. description එක Nobel Prize එක හම්බ වෙනවා. But have you heard that even though Watson and Crick got the Nobel Prize, Watson and Crick interpreted some others' data. මේගොල්ලෝ interpret කරන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ data නෙමෙයි. Watson and Crick interpreted some others' data. There was a scientist called Rosalind Franklin. She carried research and obtained some data regarding DNA using a technique called X-ray crystallography. We can discuss those in future. Rosalind Franklin obtained some data regarding DNA using a technique called X-ray crystallography. Then Rosalind Franklin also proposed a model for DNA, but her interpretation was wrong. The proposed model for DNA or Franklin's model for DNA was not accepted. Later, scientists understood that that was not the real structure. Then later, Watson and Crick interpreted Franklin's data in a different way and proposed this accepted real model. Then they got the Nobel Prize, but data was belonged to Franklin. හරිද? එහෙම දේවලුත් තියෙනවා මේකේ. බලන්න. There are such things. Okay. ඒවා ඉතින් ලස්සන කතා මේකේ. This is another important landmark producing the electron microscope. We can discuss the usage of electron microscope and some theory regarding electron microscope in the syllabus. After producing the electron microscope, scientists were able to study the internal structure of the cell. Then it was a huge landmark. Here, what is this structure mean on your right upper side, on the right upper side of the screen? Do you know, can you identify this organelle in the middle? This was an electron micrograph of what? Electron micrograph. This is an electron micrograph of a mitochondrion. Mitochondrion. Upper diagram represents right upper corner. You can see a mitochondrion. This below structure. This is an electron micrograph of nucleus. Main nucleus. Surrounding the nucleus, you can see endoplasmic reticulum, then Golgi apparatus. So we can discuss these electron micrographs while we are discussing the theory. Okay. Next, there was another person who did a famous classification method. Who is this? This is Robert H. Whittaker. He proposed 5-kingdom system of classification. You know, he divided all organisms in the world into 5 kingdoms like Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plant, and kingdom Animalia. We also used this system for many years, but later modern system of classification was proposed by this person. Who is this? This is Carl Woese. Carl Woese proposed the modern system of classification. In modern system, all organisms were classified into 3 domains. So his classification system is also known as domain system of classification. We can discuss all these things in future lessons. This is only an introduction. Okay. After that history, today, as we said, today we are discussing modern biology. අපි අද කතා කරන්නේ modern biology ගැන. Clear? Then amount of data available on about natural world has exploded in last 25 years. And we are now in a position to ask and answer questions that previously were only dreamt of. ඉස්සර නිකන් dream කරපු දේවල් දැන් අපිට reasons උත් එක්ක explain කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරිද? Okay. That's a history. That's how history contributed for the development of modern biology. Okay. Then if you turn to your tute, this is the first page. We discuss these things. We discuss discuss how biology term was derived, and we discuss the history like this. And on the next page, on the second page, under the topic nature, scope, and importance of biology, some major branches of biology are discussed. මේ බලන්න කියන එක. It says biology is a branch of science that deals with the study of life. So if I ask what is life, but it says it's be difficult to define the concept of life. Here, the concept of life is not easy to define. However, still scientists are unable to provide an acceptable definition for it කියලා කියනවා. Because life changes, it's a condition. Can't define life from person to person, from organism to organism. The features are different. So it says simply, therefore, life is something special and unique which cannot be explained using laws of chemistry and physics. Explain කරන්න බැරි condition එක. Anyhow, that is life. Then if you consider biology, biology has three major branches. What are the three major branches of biology? Three major branches of biology are botany, zoology, and microbiology. So what is botany? Botany means study of plants. Zoology. Here logos or logy means study of. Logos or logy means study of. Zoology means it's a study of animals. Microbiology is a study of microorganisms. So these are the three major branches of biology. Okay. Then here those are three major branches. We are also discussing those. In addition, biology is a very vast field. There are so many other branches in biology. Here I have summarized some of the branches in biology. So you should, at the beginning of the subject, you should have some idea regarding these branches. We will get the meaning of these. First, we'll start from this point. Histology. If you are not aware about, about these words, you can write the meaning near here. You can note at this side. You can note the meaning of these fields. Histology. Logy means, we said logy or logos means study of. Histology means this is a study of tissue, scientific study of tissues. Here under histology, we are discussing the arrangement of cells within tissues. Simply, you can say, what is histology? It is study of tissues. You can write that, study of tissues. Then next, ecology. Ecology means it is a study of environment. Ecology means study of environment. It is study of environment. Then biochemistry. What is the meaning of biochemistry? In simple words, in biochemistry, we are studying the chemical part or chemical reactions of biological concepts. And for an example, I think in your levels also you have learned structure, chemical structure, and the functions of four organic compounds, four major groups of organic compounds: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids. Structure and function of those organic compounds I had studied. That is the basic biochemistry, a basic biochemistry. That means simply in biochemistry, we are discussing chemistry, chemical reactions or chemistry related to biological molecules. So you can write there, it's a study of chemistry of biological molecules, biochemistry, study of chemistry of biological molecules, biochemistry. Okay, then physiology. On this side, you can see there's a word called anatomy and physiology. What is the difference between these two? In anatomy, anatomy is a study of structure of living organisms. That means, for an example, the arrangement of organs or arrangement of tissues in an organ, then arrangement of organs within a system or arrangement of organs inside the body. that is discussed in anatomy. It is a study of structure. Sorry, anatomy means study of structure. Right there. Anatomy is a study of structure of living organisms. Then physiology means it's a scientific study of functions of living organisms. Anatomy is the study of structure of living organisms. Physiology is the study of functions of living organisms. Physiology means study of functions of living organisms. Okay. Then we can go to the next. Parasitology. What is the meaning of parasitology? It is study of parasites. Right there, parasitology means study of parasites. The next, microbiology is also a major branch. We said microbiology means study of microorganisms. It's a major branch as well. Microbiology means study of microorganisms. Now look at this here. Parasitology and microbiology are two subject fields, two branches. Are these different? Parasitology and microbiology, are these different or same? In parasitology, we are studying parasites, but in microbiology, we are studying on microorganisms. Are these two similar or different? Two different things. Then if I say these are two different things, if I say all microorganisms are parasites, is that correct? If I say all microorganisms are parasites, is that correct? Wrong. All microorganisms are not parasites. Then also we can say all parasites are not microorganisms. Hama parasite kenekwa microorganisms ut nemi. There are macroorganisms which have parasitic life cycle, parasitic mode of nutrition. Difference. Then microorganisms means organisms which can't directly observe under naked eye are called microorganisms. Among microorganisms, some are parasites, but there are non-parasitic microorganisms. For an example, you know, there are photosynthetic microorganisms. I think you have learned Chlamydomonas, Euglena, diatoms, clear, in your O levels. And also, you know, there are photosynthetic bacteria. They produce their own food. They are not parasites. So what is a parasite then? Parasite is an organism that live in the host or on the host and obtain nutrition from the host. So key thing that should be done by a parasite is parasite should live in the host. If parasite live in the host, it is called endoparasite. Or sometimes parasites live on the host, then it is called ectoparasite. Got that? Parasite is an organism that live in the host or on the host and obtain nutrition from host. That's a parasite. But now I think you can understand those microorganisms like photosynthetic microorganisms like Chlamydomonas, then Euglena, diatoms, photosynthetic bacteria, cyanobacteria, they are not parasites. They produce their own food. They do not obtain nutrition from other organisms. Clear? That's why we said all microorganisms are not parasites. On the other way, all parasites are also not microorganisms. Some parasite can be microorganism can be, you know, leech, mosquito. They are also parasites, but they are not microorganisms. So these are two different fields. Clear? Then in cell biology, what we do in this cell biology means it's a study of cell. Cell biology, study of cell. It is also known as cytology. Cytology site can cell can CYTE site means cell. Cytology is also a study of cell. And here this is a novel field, bioinformatics. Mokade bioinformatics කියලා කියන්නේ? It's a very novel field. That is an integration of information technology and biology. Study of biology using information technology. It's an integration between biology and information technology. Here nowadays different softwares have developed to study biological concepts, to study evolution, to analyze the DNA sequences of organisms, to analyze, to understand some biological reactions. Likewise, to understand different aspects in biology, softwares have developed, algorithms have developed. Other than that, in hospital works, different softwares have developed. That is bioinformatics is the application of information technology in the field of biology. It's a novel field. There are so many applications, IT applications in the field of biology. Bill Gates once said, future of IT is actually related with biology. Anyhow, you can study bioinformatics in universities. Even from our time, there was a special degree program in Columbia University to study bioinformatics. It's a novel field. There you have to develop, there you learn, you will learn to develop softwares, algorithms, networks regarding biological aspects. You should have a good idea regarding to engage in that work. You should have a good idea regarding biology as well as informatics. Then you can integrate those. That field is called bioinformatics. You can simply write there. This is the study of applications of information technology in biology. Bioinformatics is the study of application of information technology in biology. Study of application of information technology in biology. Okay, then next, genetics. Genetics means it's a study of heredity. Genetics refers to study of heredity, right there. It's a study of heredity. You know, heredity means passing genes from one generation to the next generation. Heredity means passing genes from one generation to the next generation. Okay, finally, molecular biology. What is this? This is the scientific study of biomolecules. Molecular biology. This is the study of biomolecules. Molecular biology. Okay. Those are some fields or some branches of biology. Then you can just read the importance of biology in everyday life. Just read this. These will not be asked in the exam. Just read this. What are the applications or importance of biology in everyday life? They are not asked in the exam. Then here this is our syllabus. Syllabus. I have mentioned only the topics of the units. We have to cover 10 units. These are the 10 units that we have to study. We are discussing the first unit, Introduction to Biology. As the first part of the unit, we have to understand the subject, or fields of subject, branches of subject, what biology is. That's what we are doing. Introduction to Biology. It is the smallest unit in the syllabus. Only 5 school periods have allocated. Then today we just understand what biology is and the branches. That's the first part. Then as a second part of this unit, we can discuss some issues pertaining to biology. Then as a third part, we can discuss the living characteristics or characteristics of living organisms. Those are the contents of the Introduction to Biology. Very short. Today we get an introduction. Next day we are discussing the issues pertaining to biology as well as characteristics of living organism. Then on the next day, unit 1 will be over. Unit 2 is much longer. It is chemical and cellular basis of life. 85 school periods have allocated for this. This has 2 sections as you can see here, chemical basis of life and cellular basis of life. Under chemical basis of life, we are discussing the structure and functions of different biomolecules like carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, fats ඒවා ගැන discuss කරනවා. Lipids, sorry, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins and nucleic acids. Under cellular basis of life, in the next second part, we are discussing the structure and function of cell and cellular organelles, subcellular components. And also we are we are discussing some cellular processes like cell division, then the role of enzymes in catalyzing metabolic activities, energy relationship within the cells, then the photosynthesis as a process, what happens actually in photosynthesis. You have learned photosynthesis and cellular respiration as reactions. In your O levels, you have learned photosynthesis and cellular respiration as reactions, but actually they are not single step reactions. You learn photosynthesis as a reaction, cellular respiration as a reaction. Then කොහොමද photosynthesis reaction එකක් විදිහට ඉගෙන ගත්තේ? In photosynthesis, you just write photosynthesis as carbon dioxide react with water to synthesize glucose or hexoses like this, producing or releasing O2 කියලා. This occurs in the presence of sunlight. Light provides the energy, and chloroplast, pigments like chloroplast is needed. Chlorophyll is needed. Pigments like chlorophyll is needed. This is only the balance reaction of photosynthesis. But photosynthesis never happens like this. Carbon dioxide never reacts with water in the presence of sunlight and pigments to synthesize glucose directly. This occurs as a process through a series of reactions. Step by step, carbon dioxide convert into sugars. Make a process in a reaction, single step reaction make a balance equation cell respiration also like that. Cell respiration also process, long process, step by step, glucose oxidize and release carbon dioxide and water. So in A levels we are discussing those as processes, as cellular processes. You can understand how actually carbon dioxide convert to sugars within chloroplast in the presence of sunlight and pigments like chlorophyll. අනේව තමයි cellular basis life වල contents. Your process therapy discuss කරන ලස්සනට. Okay. Then third unit is evolution and diversity of organisms. Here under that section we are discussing the evolutionary history of organisms, theories of evolution, and in the next part diversity we are discussing the characteristics of animals, plants, protists, fungi. Every groups of characteristics discuss කරන diversity වල. Unit 4 is also much longer, plant form and function. There we discuss the structure and functions of plants, plant tissues, plant growth structures, then transport of materials inside plant. It includes several sections: transpiration, gaseous exchange, xylem transport, ascent of xylem sap, phloem translocation, then how water move in and out of the cell, methods of transporting water and minerals inside the plant, that is plant transport. Then also we discuss responses of plants to different external and internal signals, functions of different plant hormones, then the plant life cycles, how plant reproduce. Those will be discussed under plant form and functions. That's a summary. You will understand this. Then unit 5 is the longest unit, as I told you. Animal form and function. Total number of periods allocated for the syllabus is 600. That means if you add these together, you will get 600. Out of 600 school periods, almost 1/3, 193 periods have allocated for unit 5, animal form and function. There we mainly focus on systems. We mainly focus on the structure and function of human systems, not like you discuss in O levels. We discuss with more details. You will understand when you are discussing these things in A levels. Actually, the things that you have, some things that you have learned in O levels doesn't actually occur within the living body. It's somewhat different. බොරු කියන්නේ නැහැ උනාට ඉතින් O level දිගන ගත්ත දේවල් නෙමෙයි ඇත්තටම සමහර ඒවා living organisms ලා ඇතුලේ වෙන්නේ. අපි මේවා real විදිහට ඉගෙන ගන්නවා A levels වලදී. Then ඕගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගත්ත protein digestion in O levels never occur as you learn in O levels in our body. Digestive system में protein digestion ඉදී ඒ විදිහට ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගත්ත විදිහටම body එක ඇතුලේ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අන් ඒ වගේ ඉතින් පොඩි පොඩි වෙනස්කම් තියෙනවා. ඒවා අපි හරියට ඉගෙන ගන්නවා මේකේ. animal form and function. Human systems as well as how systems are arranged in animals. Then unit 6 is genetics. Here we discuss heredity, Mendelian principles, and some characteristics do not follow Mendel's laws. Those are known as non-Mendelian characters. We discuss how those characteristics pass from generation to generation in genetics. Unit 7 is a novel new unit. It is molecular biology and recombinant DNA technology. Here, I think you have learned genetic engineering. Genetic engineering is used to produce genetically modified plants and animals. Do you know the technology that used in genetic engineering is recombinant DNA technology? Using recombinant DNA technology in genetic engineering, genetically modified plants, animals are produced. Even microorganisms are genetically modified. Here in this section, we can discuss fundamentals of modifying organisms genetically. We discuss this thoroughly. We go discuss karna. In molecular biology also, we can discuss different other techniques like how DNA is isolated from cells, how DNA is sequenced, and techniques like DNA fingerprinting. I think you have learned that. You have asked, you have heard that. ඒවා අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නවා මෙතනදී කොහොමද මොනවද ඒවා කරන්න කියලා. මේක novel technology really applicable part. Then environmental biology. Here we are discussing the relationships of living organisms with the environment, and we are discussing the abiotic environment, ecological background, environment biology. Then microbiology. This is the study of microorganisms in different fields. Microorganisms in soil and their contribution to plant growth, microorganisms which cause diseases in human, then their control, then microorganisms that involve in different activities like pollution, microorganisms that use in biotechnology to produce different foods and other products. ඒවා තමයි microbiology වලදී කතා කරන්නේ. Last section is applied biology. In applied biology, we are discussing applications of some biological concepts in real life to develop, to earn money for economic development. We can use principles in biology. Those are called that is called applied biology. We can discuss in applied biology. We can discuss some new technologies like tissue culture, stem cell technology, nanotechnology. Those are novel technologies used in biology. Then also we can discuss controlling methods of some parasitic diseases, vector-borne diseases. ඒවා discuss කරනවා applied biology වලදී. ඔය තමයි contents ටික. දැන් මම briefly mention කරේ. We can discuss those. Clear නේද? Alright, then you can also read this section, aims of the syllabus. ඒකත් නිකන් ගෙදරදී කියවන්න. හරි. That's it. ඔච්චර තමයි ඔය ටික තමයි මට මුල් දවසේ කියන්න ඕන. හරිද? Next day there are some basics to learn. We can learn those basics and move to the second part of unit 1. We discuss the first part, that is introduction. We understand what kind of subject is that. Then on the next day we can discuss some basic concepts which will be helpful in studying this biology. Then we can move to the second part of introduction to life, introduction to biology, that is issues pertinent to life. On the next day we can finish unit 1. In a සතිය අපි ඔක ඉවර කරනවා. එතකොට after finishing unit 1 on the next day, from the third week onwards you will have weekly tests. Today during this week you can search more things regarding biology. Based on your curiosity you can search the fields of biology. ඒවා නිකන් search කරලා බලන්න internet එකේ. From the next day onwards you have to study properly, because from the next day we are starting to discuss theoretical concepts thoroughly. Then you can study. Then from the third week onwards you will have, as I told you, you will have weekly tests. Weekly tests will be started from third week onwards. Clear neda? Okay, that's it. And today we will wind up here. Next day on 8 p.m. on next Monday on 8 p.m. we will have the live class. On every Monday until you face the exam, class will continue like this. 8 pm 8 pm වලට කරගෙන යනවා class එක. එතකොට අපිට extra සමහරලාට දවස් දාන්න පුළුවන්. We can have some extra classes based on your convenience. Sometimes we will arrange some extra classes as well. එක බලමු අපි. Normally we will do the class 8 pm. You will see the time here will be more than enough to cover the contents as I told you before 5 months. Not physical class එකට online වල ඉක්මනට කරන්න පුළුවන් අපිට. මේ therefore this time is more than enough. ඉතින් අපි කරගෙන යන් හිමින් සැරේ don't have a big rush. We can finish contents with 5 months before the exam. මේ විදිහට කරගෙන ගියාම ඊට ඉවර කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. හරි නේද එහෙනම්? If you have any questions or doubts regarding the process, you can ask now, or else we will leave the meeting and meet on next Monday at 8 pm. If you have any questions or doubts regarding the process, you can ask. If there are someone if among students if there is anyone who are not in the group, please send me a WhatsApp message. If there is someone who are not in the group එකේ WhatsApp group එකේ නැති කට්ටිය මට WhatsApp message එකක් දාන්න, then I will add them to the group because අමිතර මොනවද ප්‍රශ්න මොනවද අහනවා? How to collect the tute කියලා. Normally I send the PDF of the tute to the group. PDF එක send කරනවා group එකට. You can get a print out, or else I can send the tute to your home through post. Then to send the tute, cost for postal charge have to be paid. එහෙම වුණොත් ඔයාලට කියන්න වෙනවා, you have to send me the address, then I can post it through to your home. මට post කරන්න පුළුවන් tutes ටික. එහෙමත් පුළුවන්. Or else I can send the PDF, then you can get a print out. Anyway, මොකක් PDF එක කොහොමද දානවා group එකට tute එකේ. ඔයාලට එකකින් print out එකක් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් post එකේ send කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒතර ඒක ඔයාලට convenient විදිහකට ඔයගලන්ට convenient විදිහට ඒක arrange කරන්න පුළුවන්. If you need to post the tute, then let me know, send me a WhatsApp message. WhatsApp message එකක් දාන්න ඔයාලා tute එක මෙහෙම post කරගන්න ඕන. එතකොට මම tutes ටික මේ month එකට අදාළ tutes ටික ඔයාලට post කරනවා. හරිනේ? ඒකේ මම කියන්නම් කොහොමද ඒකේ cost එක වෙන්නේ කියලා. ඉතින් අර ඒකේ අර weight එකත් එන සමහර tutes ගොඩක් ලොකුයි, සමහර ඒවා පොඩි නේද? එතකොට ඒකත් එක්ක weight එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. ඉතින් බර වෙනස් වෙයි. ඉතින් මම කොහොමද කියලා කියන්නම්. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්ක post කරන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් ඔයාලට PDF එක කොහොමද දානවා, ඔයාලට print out එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. මොකක් වුණත් එකයි. හරි. WhatsApp message කරන්න. ඒක මම එතකොට set කරන්නම්. තා මොකක්ද අහනවා? මින් මේ මෙතන comment එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ තෙනුල කියලා තියෙන මම personally දන්නේ නැහැ මේගොල්ලන්ගේ. මෙයා කියනවා your explanations are crystal clear. I found my passion in biology. Thanks dear sir for your effort. Hope to continue under your guidance dear sir throughout this A-level journey කියලා. Okay, glad to hear that. Seha asking what should we study from today's part? Then in today's part there's no particular section to study that thoroughly. Just get an idea about the subject. As I told you, from next day onwards you will have some contents to study thoroughly. Today we just understand the process, understand the subject. That is enough for the first day. From next day you can study. The මේ සතියට ඔහි නිකන් ඉන්න. Fabian is from Nigambo, so can I collect it from IMS? Yes. If you near the institute, you can collect. No need to post then. You can come to the institute and meet me. I will be there in IMS throughout the Sunday. Sunday I will be there. I think then now you can hear. Okay, we will meet on next Monday at 8 p.m. For today, that's it. Then good night. අද රැති එහෙනම් good night ඊළඟ දවසේ හම්බෙමු 8 p.m. වලට.